review is on Wintersong by Jae-Jones. I believe this is Jae-Jones' debut series. It comes out in February, on February 7th. I got this book, months ago, and I wanted to read it months ago. However, I got to it last night. I also, because of that book, got 2 hours of sleep last night. You know how it is, you get into a book and you say 1 o'clock in the morning, oh, I gotta put it down. I couldn't put it down. Got to 2 o'clock in the morning, I thought, oh, I gotta put it down. I couldn't put it down. By 3 o'clock, I really wanted to put it down. I thought, oh darn, there's only a couple pages left. I'm gonna get to the ending. Yeah, and there went my night's sleep. So this book was really very, very good. It's a fantasy for the young adult audience. However, I wouldn't put it in that category. I'd say more for new adult or adults. The main character is 19 years old, Liesel, which puts her a little bit above the normal age group for YA books. However, that wasn't the main reason. The main reason being that Liesel is, she's looking for more. It's not about her and her teen kind of age decisions, but she's looking at marriage, and she has life and future a little bit in her mind. Not only that, this takes place 150, 200 years ago, and at that time, 19-year-olds were not that immature. They had to deal with life a little bit more, and you can see this in Liesel. This story reminded me, when I was reading of it, of 3 different other stories. Heavily of the Labyrinth, but I also found out this morning that it's written after the Labyrinth, and that's a movie with David Bowie and the tight jeans and all the feathers. I don't remember if you remember him. This Goblin King does not have feathers and tight jeans, I don't think. At least I can't remember reading that part. He's good looking, has antlers on his head, but not that. Any case, it heavily hangs on the Labyrinth. Then it's also written nach der Earlkoenig von Goethe. That's a German poet and his poem. And it's also reminding me a little bit of Hades and Persephone. This story takes place in the underworld, a lot of it, and there were 2 things about this book that really surprised me. The first one was it wasn't fantasy type. I mean, it is fantasy, but in the beginning, the author takes real life historical things and builds them in very nicely till you can feel them. She has the whole music from Vienna and Strasbourg and the life in the villages at that time and the music from the king. I mean, you never go there, but this whole feeling is really vivid, and it gives the whole thing a very historical, realistic grounding, which I enjoyed tremendously. And as I said, was shocked that she actually did that. Not only that, the writing was a lot more poetic and beautiful and elegant than I expected it would be. I thought this would be more of a light fantasy read. No. The author does so many details and pulls you vividly into the world, especially when you go to the underground. There are tons of eerie feelings. I mean, you could feel this in book come to life around you. And she does all these really details that are kind of creepy and dark and somehow beautiful and lovely at the same time. Like there's little carvings of tiny little goblins, and they have sneer faces in the furniture and stuff like that. So as I said, it was just a treat to read from that side. The story itself is about this girl named Liesel. She works at the inn, and she and her whole family and everybody know that, or have these rumors or folklore, I think you could say more, of the Goblin King. Her sister is about to get married. She's feeling a little bit unloved, ugly, and she doesn't really fit in anywhere. However, the Goblin King has set his sights on her, and he sets a trap, luring her into the underground. And this book is not an action-packed book. You can't sit down here and think, oh, they're going to have fight scenes and goblins. I mean, there is some goblins and some blood and a couple little dangerous scenes. And you do feel for Liesel, and you hope she gets past these moments. But that's not what this book is about. This book is about Liesel. It is really about Liesel and how she deals with the tasks and how she conquers the things and how she looks at life and her own self-questioning, her own development, her relationship with this Goblin King. In other words, if you don't hit it off with Liesel and can't connect with her character, you're not going to like this book. You either like her or just lay the book down, because you won't. The first part of this book is a little bit faster paced than the second half. The first half is more about the Goblin King trying to trick her, and there's a couple other characters involved, and it gives a little bit more depth and layers. By the second half, you have Liesel in the underground. It's basically just her and the Goblin King. The other ones are there, but more in the background, and it's about her motion. It's still very interesting. As I said, I stayed up till wow in the morning. But it's definitely a little slower paced and into this relationship more. So that's this Wintersong. It ends, I can't even tell you how it ends because that would be just awful. However, I do hope there's a second book coming out. I don't know if there is or not because everything was kind of wrapped up. But please write a second book because I want to see more of that. especially after that ending. So that will be it for today. And I've got a lot more books to review, so I'm going to try to do 2 of these videos a week from now. We'll see how that works out. Anyway, until then, don't forget to feed that bookworm.